What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video we are going over gameplay tips for brand new players and squad busters looking for more amazing gaming content. So I have a pre-recorded video. This is some gameplay footage from a while ago that I did, and what we're going to be doing is we're going step by step through everything you need to know as a new player to get you started. So first things first, when you go ahead and you click the play button, it's going to show you your squad next battle. So the way this game works is no matter how many characters you have unlocked, you don't always have access to them in your next battle. So it's completely randomized. So you may have a specific character unlocked, but it may not show up in your next squad battle. There's no way to change it as of right now, at least. From the start, I noticed that I do not have the goblin in my next squad battles. Take inventory of what you're gonna have access to and what you're not going to. And this is gonna be important for using your re-roll token. A good example would be, let's say we have a fusion battle mod. We really wanna pick Goblin as our first initial character. We get lots of coins at the beginning, so that way we can scale our squad up very quickly. If we go into the next match and we know we do not have the goblin, then we have no reason to try and re-roll for the goblin because the goblin's never going to pop up, as opposed to, let's say we have access to the goblin and then in our first initial 3 choices we don't have goblin. That would be a good time to go ahead and use our reroll token and try and get a better starting character. From there, it's going to go ahead and it's going to determine your map that you're going to be playing on, as well as a battle mod. Now the map can be any of the maps that you already have unlocked, or what I would say the worlds. So when you first start off as a new player, you're always going to be in the green world. Then once you get further and you level up your account, you'll have access to the second world, and then it'll kind of go back and forth. You have a chance to be in the green world maps, or you have a chance to be in one of the other maps. Same thing with the battle mods. As a new player, you're only going to have access to the battle mods in that green world, and the battle mods do play a huge part in strategy and tips and tricks as well. I did a whole video where I went over all of the tips and tricks for the starting battle mods in green world. I'll leave a link to that down below in the description box so you can check that out. And then as you do go ahead and advance to other worlds, you'll then get access to more battle mods, and pretty much what they're doing is they're taking the new ones and they're mixing it in. Then you'll have a more wide variety of battle mods that can pop up the more you advance your account. So this is our starting characters that we can choose from: Bo, Colt, El Primo, or if you have a reroll token, you can go ahead and use a reroll token. Now we could go ahead and we could reroll and try and get a Greg, so that way we could start chopping down trees. Greg as a supplier, kind of build up our team a lot faster. But for this instance, I don't use my reroll token. I feel like it's not necessarily needed. I feel like we can be okay with choosing one of these characters, and I go ahead and I choose Bo. Bo is really good also for the beginning because he does extra damage to monsters, so you can kind of farm up these monsters a lot faster than someone like Colt. Even though Colt is a damage dealer, Bo will do more damage to the monsters. You see, he pretty much one-shots those minions, so that's going to help us go ahead and get a bunch of coins fast. Soon as you have enough coins, you should immediately be running to your chest. You always want to be building up your squad as much as possible. So anytime you have enough coins to go ahead and purchase another character, you should be looking for the nearest chest and doing that. If you just continue to walk around and hoard your coins instead of constantly buying your characters, you're really going to slow down your progress, and it's all about time. You need to be as fast as possible. You want to be constantly taking out enemies as fast as possible and building up your squad. The more characters you have, the faster you're able to defeat other enemies, and also protect yourselves from other players trying to come in and bust your squad, and also giving you the ability to go ahead and bust other players' squads who may be building up a little slower. We go ahead and we cash in our coins to get another character. Now our options are going to be Shelly, Bo, and El Primo. Now ideally you want to try and choose duplicate characters, so that way you can go ahead and you can create what's called a fusion. Every time you have 3 duplicates of a character, you create a fusion, which is a bigger version of that character, and that character is going to do more damage, they're going to have more health, and also they're going to give you a reduction in the cost for your next character purchase at a chest. and also it's going to heal up your squad as well a little bit. So very important to be trying to constantly do fusions. If we go ahead and we choose like Shelly or El Primo, it's going to scale the cost of our chest a lot more, and it's going to get very, very expensive. So for our next one, we go ahead and we choose a bow. We now have 2 copies of bow running around. I'm just going around and farming up some gold. I need about 5 gold for my next purchase, so we have enough. I run to the chest, and now you'll see we have another option to go ahead and choose bow, Shelly, or Colt. So immediately I take bow, so that way we get that fusion, and then the next price will be reduced as well. So now you'll see it'll transform into a bigger bow. It'll hit a lot harder, do more damage basically, and he has a lot more HP. Now you see these like elite monsters, we're taking them down super fast, only 3 shots, and you'll see that also our chest was only 3 gold. Now, if I went ahead and I had, instead of 3 copies of bow into a fusion, if I had 3 different characters, that purchase for that next chest would have been a lot more expensive, and I wouldn't have been able to scale my team as quickly. So our next options we get are going to be Greg, El Primo, and Colt. It's still fairly early in the game, so it's okay for us to choose Greg as a supplier to go ahead and chop down trees. So I go ahead and I choose Greg. Now, right here is a great example of what to do with Greg and another character. So I have an enemy right near the tree, so I'm getting double value right now. I'm gonna run to the tree, and Greg is gonna chop the tree down, and Bo is gonna attack the monster. So it is amazing, amazing value. Typically, a lot of new players, they're gonna go to the tree and they're just gonna chop the tree down, and their other characters are just gonna be standing around, not doing anything. Looking out for trees that have enemies nearby is amazing because you get double the value. You get the tree chopping from Greg, and then your other characters will attack the minion monsters that are nearby. Now at the bottom, you'll see we did have another live player who was feeling a little bit froggy, and he's in our area. So we kind of go ahead and we check him out. He's got 2 barbs and 1 Colt. Now the only downside to having Bo is that Bo isn't really that great for PvP. He's really good for PvE content, basically destroying those neutral monsters. However, when it comes to fights, this isn't that great. So they got 2 frontliners, which are barbarians, which will absolutely decimate my Greg. Greg isn't really good for PvP either. So this initially is a bad fight to take. Even though we do have a fusion bow, this isn't really necessarily good. So you'll see that I immediately run away, and I'm like, all right, we can't do this once I see who he has. We go ahead and we do another buy, and I get another copy of Greg. Again, we're trying to scale into those fusions as much as possible. I'm also looking for trees as well. And again, we had enough coins, so I'm looking for another chest to immediately buy something. Our next options are Colt and Shelly. So unfortunately, we don't get the option to get that 3rd Greg, which we really want, so that way we can get that fusion Greg. So we got to choose Colt or Shelly. So either one is going to be good for PvP and just in general damage. So I believe I go ahead and I take Colt for this one so we can get some ranged damage going in. We're then going ahead, we're looking for trees and monsters at the same time, trying to get double value. We are trying to get up to 15 coins, so I need a little bit more. We're going to take out this box as well for some goodies, including some more boots. We need 1 more, find another tree, and then we're heading right to that chest. Now our options are El Primo, Greg, and Shelly. Immediately, we're going for Greg, version of Greg. We're going to take out these monsters. Now, at the bottom right there, it's kind of hard to see them in the way, but see that little like 4 icon? It's super important as a player to pay attention to that, because what that means is it's saying that there is another live opponent who is nearby, and that is how many gems they currently have. You need to use this to your advantage when it comes to going ahead and ganking people, jumping on them, attacking them, PvPing them, by knowing how many gems they have. So early on, 4 gems, and I have 8 gems, so I can kind of get a grasp that they're probably a little bit weaker than me. If you ever see somebody at this point in the game, you know, we still got 2 minutes and 27 seconds left, but if they had like only 1 gem or 0 gems, or I mean, it was even a lower number, that would be a good instance that their team is very, very weak. And based on my team, we got Bo and Greg, Fusion, and a Colt. I'm pretty confident with that. If they only have like 1 or 2 gems, they probably have a weaker team. That's a good time to go down and explore and see what their team is and possibly get into a quick PvP battle. PvP battles are important because if you do win, you're not only going to get all of their gems and resources and stuff, but it's also going to give you a free key for your next chest opening. So what that means is if you go ahead and you destroy an enemy, the next chest you open is completely free. So for this instance, I don't go down and I decide to go back up and continue to build up my team. Now we got 2. So we're building out our squad pretty good. Not too bad early on. And now you see right here, we have a 3 gem enemy at the top. Another live player, pretty low considering we have 11 and the top player has 22. At the bottom, someone has 4. And then at the other bottom, someone has 14. So again, just keeping an instance. All right, so there they are. Not really any fusion, but what they do have is a tank. They have El Primo, who's basically a really strong defender. So for that instance, I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling too confident about that. I'm also not feeling too confident about that either. So I'm just trying to keep my distance a little bit and still try and continue to build up my squad. We're going to chop down this tree. We have enough. We're going to buy another character. We got El Primo or Hog Rider. For this instance, I believe I take El Primo because we need a tank. It's very important if you're going into a PvP battle to at least have some kind of tank, aka defender. So that would be El Primo for new players in Green World. Nita, once you have access to Nita, she summons the bear. Even a Barbarian isn't too bad, or Barbarian King. Those are good frontliners who are good at kind of protecting your backline and stuff. They have good amounts of health. So we're running around. We see a live enemy. They got 6. Again, I'm just trying to avoid them right now because I don't feel like getting into a fight. I don't feel too confident in my team yet. I'm just trying to build up my squad. So I'm running around trying to find trees, trying to find elite enemies, anything that I can kind of attack to generate those coins. We're going to go ahead and we're going to buy another chest. Now for this instance, we don't have Nita unlocked yet. I don't have the battle healer. So our choices are very limited. Our only choice is dynamite. In this instance, if you wanted to, you could use a reroll token, but I try and be really careful with using a reroll token unless it's like very dire need, specifically at the beginning of a match. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take dynamite and we're going to continue on looking for more trees. We're going ahead and putting out one of our cannon spells for added defense and offense as well. We have some PvP players at the top right there. Looks like they got into a fight right there. And yeah, here's another fight. We're going to throw this bomb. That was a great toss of the bomb. I got lots of value out. Like, look at that. We pretty much took out their entire team's like half of their health, which is really strong. That we could have possibly went for that battle. It would have been close because a lot of them were already half health, but I didn't do it. We're now in the middle, and this is kind of where the game starts to get dicey. In that like last minute of the game, you're going to notice that the vines are starting to really creep in and pressure everyone towards the middle. And basically what happens is as the match goes on, these vines come in from the edge of the map and push everyone to the middle. If you go near the vines, they deal damage to your character, so you don't want to be in the vines pretty much at all. And what it does is it shrinks the map, and then it forces everyone into the middle where the gem mine is. So that's where it gets like a lot of PvP heavy in the last minute. So you got to be careful and have a strong team. If you feel scared that your team isn't that good, stay on the edge of the map. That's the best bet because a lot of the players are going to be in the middle where all the boss monsters are, elite monsters, and the gem mine spitting all the gems out. So just kind of stay on the outside. You'll see I'm staying on the outside because I'm just trying to be cautious. I just want to get like a top 3 finish. I'm not too worried about like PvPing anyone, and right now I am in 3rd. So there's really no reason for me to try and do anything crazy, right? I don't need to like have a huge swing because I'm like falling behind. I'm doing good just farming stuff up. Now this is a little bit scary here because we got the big boss monster dinosaur. He's about to jump our team and he's gonna hit us pretty hard. So you gotta look out for those boss monsters in the middle because they do wander around. They don't just necessarily stay in the middle. They wander around a little bit. So here's a great example of a nice PvP battle. This guy's got 27 gems and he kind of just walks into us, right? Like we weren't looking for a fight, but he came into us and we weren't moving, so we got the jump on him. I stopped moving because I'm attacking this little minion and he moves up into our space, right? So like right here, he starts moving in and I'm like, oh, let me stop moving and start attacking him. And then we get really good value right there. And we can see that he's very weak. we start to chase him, which isn't necessarily the best bet. So by chasing him, all I did was waste time. So don't do what I did in this video. That was kind of a waste. There was really no reason to do that. We finished second, which again, we made top 3. It could have ended badly. We could have ended up getting into like a big battle by chasing him. So like I always say, don't chase enemies. It's really not a good idea. This was one of the earlier games that I recorded when I was a new player myself and I was making mistakes like that. So that's a good example of what not to do. But like this is good, right? Like second place is good. All you want to do is get in the top 3. The top 3 all get the same amount of taps. It doesn't matter if you're first, second, or third. The other thing that's also important is you want to get in the top 3 as much as possible, because a lot of your book quests have to do with you getting in the top 3. So the more times you hit that top 3, you're going to advance your account a lot faster, because you're going to be leveling up your account level, which is going to give you access to rewards and also new worlds. Now, ideally, top 5 is going to keep your streak. So if you can't make top 3, either getting 4th or 5th is going to keep you that top 5 streak, which I'm going to show you right here. So our top 5 streak is going to give us bonus taps. So it's always important to do that. But if you want to advance your account even faster, trying to get top 3 is going to be the most ideal. So I go ahead and we're going to get 7 taps out of this, which is pretty good. I mean, this is like the best you can kind of get right now, unless they change it, because we are in early access right now. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do some taps, see if we get a better chest. We didn't, unfortunately. We still got a common, and we get 4 El Primos. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll see you all later. Peace.